Welcome to Marvel Maniac, an MCU after show. I'm your host, Eric Cicada, aka Mr. Honest. This is the first episode. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for joining us. I am a huge fan, personally, of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I have been from day one. So anyone who knows me will tell you that I go crazy over the overarching story of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So today's an exciting day. It is the launch of the first in canon, apparently, the Daredevil, Jessica Jones Defenders, Iron Fist, Luke Cage. Apparently that's not canon, apparently. We'll see. We're hearing rumors of Daredevil and a Spider-Man. Now, spoiler alert, everything through Spider-Man Far From Home in this show is on the table to be spoiled. So if you haven't seen through that, and if you care about going through the MCU as a whole and you haven't yet, I'd recommend maybe putting us in your queue, but waiting and coming back until you're caught up. But, I mean, you're also probably watching WandaVision, and that might have brought you here. And heck, if that's what you want to... If you want to start here, you're welcome to start here. But just so you know, you've been warned. Spoiler warning. Now, I'm just one guy. This is just my opinion on a giant, entire cinematic universe as we go forward. It's just my impression. So I'd like to hear your impressions too. If you have something you disagree with, please be polite. I mean, obviously, leave hate at the door. But email marvelmaniacpod@gmail.com and your comment may be featured on the show. More importantly, if you leave a review on the show and comment, we'll do our best to feature that on the show as well. But enough of that. Let's get into the first episode of WandaVision. I couldn't have been more amped up for another entry into the MCU. It has been over a year since I've been in a theater watching one of those marvelous Marvel movies. When I was watching Endgame and the portal scene happened, man, when you see those heroes step out of those portals to that one specific song, Portals, I think it's titled in the soundtrack. It was one of the greatest cinematic moments I've ever witnessed. It was one of the best moments I've ever sat through in theaters, and I'm sure a lot of listeners who found their way here would agree. So moving forward, obviously, we are wondering what is going to happen in this show. My thoughts before the show, I had a lot of questions. Obviously, so where do we leave Wanda and Vision in the MCU most recently? Well, Infinity War. We find Wanda and Vision. They are on the run together, kind of like little Bonnie and Clyde, just like superhero love affair, just on their own. They're living their best lives. Vision's got something in his head that Space Hitler just so happens to want. Thanos. The last we've seen of Vision, Thanos ripped. He not only did it once, he killed Vision twice. Vision died 2 times. So he's back again. So that's my what world are we in right now? Are we sitting in the moment before Vision died? Are we like in the moment, in that exact moment where Wanda has her powers into Vision's head and she's inserting all of her power to destroy the stone against all her will? That's a long moment in that Infinity War, and it is a dramatic scene. Thanos is bursting through every Avenger, and Wanda and Vision, they're just having their last moments, and neither of them want to lose each other. We saw Shuri up in the lab doing something. We don't know what happened in the lab. We know she was analyzing him, and then it really looked like she got away with something. So I'm thinking that maybe maybe, just maybe, that is going to come into play. I don't know if this whole series takes place within that one moment. That's my theory going in. Now let's get into the episode. Not a lot of information in this first one. Now, on release night, as I'm sitting here, there are 2 episodes posted. I have not yet watched the second. So I was deliberating on if I should watch 1 and 2, then do a 1 episode on both of them. I decided to do each episode individually. So I'm going to go back and sit down and watch that next episode and come back and talk about it after I talk about this one. I decided to do that for one reason or 2 reasons. The main reason being, I think it's more interesting to have a fresh perspective. It's as simple as that for the first episode. And I'm really, really hoping to be wowed in the second one a little bit more. But I didn't hate what I saw at all. I mean, I kind of got what I was expecting in this episode. Like even from the beginning of the episode, I'm waiting for that twist moment. What is this show really about, right? Because we know that this whole entire series isn't just gonna be about like a sitcom, alternate universe, WandaVision. I mean, this first episode honestly leaned more towards that than I thought it would. So basically, Wanda and Vision are living in a sitcom world, and that of like I Love Lucy or Bewitched, I think the shows they're going off of. And what's kind of fun about this episode is they did incorporate Wanda and Vision's powers, at least a little bit. And there were these really not awkward, like not like, oh, this is cringy awkward, but like world-breaking moments where both either of the characters were drawn out of that reality. So we're already seeing hints that this isn't all as nice as it seems. I mean, as we get through the episode, it does become apparently dark for a moment. Accountant Vision questioning, what do we do here? I mean, he's working his job. He has no idea why he is an accountant, and he's questioning, the nature of his reality. And his boss is a brilliant character actor. I'm not going to pull up the name just yet because I want to get this episode out and I want an instant reaction, and I want to go to this. I'm anxious to get to the second one. But I want to get my thoughts on this one, of course. Wanda is a lot more swept up in this reality with her friend, with her friend Agnes. They're very Lucy and Ethel, very Lucy and Ethel. And we get this whole little sitcom plot of Wanda and Vision having to have Vision's boss over for a dinner, and Wanda's having this whole thing, trouble preparing dinner with Ethel, and it's very silly, it's very funny, but coming from the MCU, we're like, okay, what's the deal here, right? Kitty from That 70s Show shows up, and that is a very welcoming sitcom homage. That 70s Show, hilarious. Great to see her. And then the boss, it was a very funny actor. Whenever they, I believe when Vision changed forms and when Wanda changed forms, they snap. I'm caught notice of that. And also, at the beginning of the episode, it's the day August 23rd. I don't know what the significance of that is yet. Is that the day the snap happened in MCU canon? That's a good question. I don't know. We're probably going to learn more about that. Snapping. Yeah, that snapping, where they change outfits. The snap. I don't know. I don't think a snap is. I don't think that's accidental. Snapping is like I've snapped PTSD. I don't think I'm the only one. When they're snapping in the MCU, I'm thinking of that moment. There's multiple moments now. There's 3 moments. There's lots of snaps. So I don't think the snap is a coincidence, and I think that might just be a small homage. I don't know if we're going to learn more about them changing their appearances that way via snap. But I don't know. So there seems to be like a lot of actual PTSD coming through in the characters in this episode. And the first time it completely like is apparent is when Kitty, I should know, the boss's wife, Kitty, from that 70s show, she asked, "Why don't you have children?" And then Wanda gets kind of like stuck, I think Kitty might ask it again. It was a long moment, but like Wanda kept coming back into her sitcom self, and then she kept like drawing away, kind of thinking like something was hitting her, and she was like getting down to but then she brought herself back. You know what I mean? Like she was completely thrown off by, why don't you have children? That's a good question, Wanda is so stuck. And then the boss starts choking. The boss just starts choking. It's like a nice night, the nice evening. It's very sitcom-y up to this point. But then, the boss starts choking, and it's like, this is a little scary, okay? Because like Kitty's like going, stop it. And she gets really intense. And it's like going on for like maybe a couple moments too long, and nobody really knows what to do. And that stop it is kind of like ringing in your ears, and until Wanda says, "Vision, do something." And then Vision like gets down and reaches into this man. Vision enters him, and in a non-funny way, but I thought that was kind of funny to say. The intense moment ends, Vision's boss and wife leave, and it becomes very sitcom-y again. And it's almost like that moment didn't even happen. And Wanda and Vision share a moment, and they're both, again, starting to kind of question their reality, and they decide that today will be their anniversary, August 23rd. So that's the significance as of now. Where it will come to play later is a good question. Answer me that. Where will it come? We will see. Future me, I'm very interested in seeing what you have to say about this. You probably have a lot of knowledge 2 years down. I wonder where we'll be. So they get married on the spot, which is kind of adorable. I love that. They manifest wedding rings together at the same time. And they get married on the spot. And as Vision says, they live happily ever after. And that's kind of the meat and potatoes of this episode. There wasn't a lot there. It's just kind of this baseline introduction. The episode ends, sitcom episode ends. We start to pan out to reveal someone writing in a notebook. They're watching this on a TV. We don't know who this is. It's like a back shot. And then there's on the notebook, there's a circle with an upside down cross on it, and then there's also like an image of that same logo like on the computer. They got a whole setup here, and they're watching the WandaVision as a show from a third party perspective, and then we get this trippy end credit sequence, which doesn't really reveal anything. I did stick around. There's no post credit scene. I'm not mad at them for that. They probably wouldn't want to confuse people, new Disney Plus viewers, and they wouldn't. I mean, it would be very true to the Marvel movies if they put post-credit scenes. But with the story they're trying to tell, it seems like they're going to be telling one big story over, like a movie over the course of a few episodes. Because if you watch the credits, they're long. There's a huge production value here. They didn't hold back, and this episode wasn't boring by any means. This is a classic sitcom episode with, superhero elements, and they kind of leaned into the sitcom in this one, and I wasn't ready for it. I'll be honest. I wasn't fully ready for it, but I will say I am humbled, and I enjoyed it more than I thought I would. And I'm really excited to see where they go with this, because I know we're breaking this reality. I love those reality breaking moments. I think these characters have great chemistry. And when I heard we're getting a show together, my heart kind of stopped, because and you Marvel comic readers, you need to lay the knowledge on me, okay? I was a video game kid. I don't have any excuse for not having loads of comics as a kid. It wasn't my thing then. Superhero movies and have always been my thing. Superheroes, I've always been a fan of them. Spider-Man, Batman, and when Iron Man came out in theaters, it was the best superhero movie I had ever seen. I mean, Dark Knight came out that summer too. That was awesome. I saw Iron Man more times than I saw Dark Knight because I knew there was something special about it, and I love Tony Stark as a hero, and I just fell in love with the MCU, and I've seen every movie except The Incredible Hulk with Edward Norton, ironically, in theaters. Every single MCU movie in theaters on release weekend. Maybe with the exception of one or two being like a day or two like late. I don't know. I don't think I could wait. And most occasions, most of those MCU movies I saw on the night. So yeah, having, we're coming off of one of the biggest, greatest stories, in my opinion, told in movies, and now we're branching off into new territory here. Like the first Iron Man, there shouldn't be any expectations going in. We're at the ground floor of something new, and if that's going to take a little extra time and a little bit of world building and a little more time to tell that story, well, dang, I'm happy that they're doing it that way. They're taking their time. They're literally showing, ironically, their vision. And that's what kind of made this episode fun for me. And I'm really looking forward to see where the series goes from here. And with that being said, we're not going to overrun these episodes. I'm not going to talk more than I feel needed. I mean, I can go on and on and on about the MCU, but I think we're going to get plenty of that as the show goes forward. Why, you say? Because there's so many Marvel shows coming out going forward. The next one coming out is Falcon and Winter Soldier. We got that coming up this year too, and then later this year we got Loki. Oh my gosh, there's so many more. She-Hulk is announced. There's so many shows in the works right now. I can go on and on about what's coming, but I want to stay current on what's here. I want to hone in on what's happening. I don't want to miss a beat, and I want you to stay here with me through it. This is Marvel Maniac, an MCU after show. I'm your host, Eric Cicada, aka Mr. Honest. Thank you for coming. And like I said, if you want to share your thoughts, email us. We're marvelmaniacpod@gmail.com. I want to hear your thoughts. What did you think about this first episode? Second episode too. I'm assuming you watched them both at once. Maybe you somehow came here after you watched the first one, and now you're going to the second one too. I'm really excited. Are you? Most of you probably have seen it, and you can't spoil it for me because I probably have already seen it by now. By the time you're listening to this, there's no way in heck I haven't. Until next time, I gotta make a catchphrase now. Avengers Assemble. We're just gonna stick with the classic. Avengers Assemble. Avengers disband. That's pretty good. Avengers disband.